Hello and welcome to another video. We're going to be working on a Worcester Green Star 37 CDI, which is a combi, and what we're going to be looking at is the electrode assembly, which used to be a bit different in older models of this boiler. And the difference was that old electrode assembly would have a window on it, okay? And so many boilers I've come across not being serviced, not being looked after, the seal basically breaks and it starts to leak gases into the boiler via the window or besides on the sides of the window, sides of the electrodes. So whenever you come across this type of electrodes assembly, you must change this, okay? One more thing about this one is that where the screws are, you can see two brass cups where the screws are sitting. These brass cups are no longer in use. So once you remove the screws and you put the new type of electrode assembly, you don't need to put these cups back on. I've seen it so many times, even on the new type of electrodes assembly, people start putting back these brass cups, which is not really required. Before we get into the video, if you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe and click the bell icon so you get notified when I upload new content. Also, please make sure to like and comment, and let's get back to the video. Okay, so first things first, we've isolated the power to the boiler using the fuse spur to the boiler itself. Then we've removed the electrode assembly. As you can see, the seal behind the electrodes is completely broken. It's so old that it's not doing what it should anymore at all. This is the front view of the electrode assembly. As I showed you the window earlier, this is the comparison between the new one and the old one. This picture I'm showing you now is from a different boiler. This is the new type of electrode assembly, which I changed because the electrodes were worn out on this. So on this, we removed both screws from either sides. We removed the electrode assembly, and normally this seal, which sits behind the new type of electrodes, it gets stuck onto the heat exchanger. So you can use a rake, which you usually use to clean the inside of the main heat exchanger where the air gas chamber is when you service the boiler. Use the same rake to scrape the seal off, and whatever's left on the main heat exchanger stuck on it, just clean it with a wire brush. I use these small wire brush, which are quite useful for small tasks like these. This is the part number for the new electrode assembly. Now these electrodes, they come with hex screws or a star screw, okay? And these screws are meant to be for the new electrode assembly, but the screwdriver you need to use for this one is a Torx T20, okay? It's a star screwdriver, but the size is a T20 Torx, okay? Just to let you know what you will need. The old electrode versus the new electrode in this case, you can see the spark electrodes are worn out. Not too much, but the main worn out part is the sensing electrode on this assembly. The old one is worn quite a lot, and it would have stopped recognizing the flame soon in the future. So this seal, I've just shown you the picture how it goes onto the electrode assembly, okay? And now to put back the electrode assembly onto the main heat exchanger, you put this on, you put the screws on, okay? But one thing to remember, do not over tighten these screws, because this can start or cause the gases to again leak or de-shape the whole plate. It can de-shape if you tighten the screws too much, okay? So you don't go crazy with it. One thing just to mention what cables these are. So the two on the right, which are red ones, they are the spark electrode cables, and the one which is single on the left hand side horizontal, this is the sensing electrode cable. We've turned the power back onto the boiler's come back on, and these two bubbles, I will mention in another video what this is. Boiler's on. We're obviously going to do the 26.9 checks, make sure everything is fine. And after all the checks are done, and once you've made sure that the boiler's working fine, reading and maximum settings, that is all you need to do on this boiler. Bear in mind, always, whenever you come across a window on these electrodes, you must change it, even though it doesn't look too bad visibly or visually. But behind that, as you could see, initially it was looking okay, but when we removed the electrodes, the seal was actually broken. Okay, so bear that in mind. Hopefully you've liked today's video. If you have done so, please give us a like, share the video, and I will see you in the next one.